not even close. Just so you know, I purchased every single jacket you are about to see in these tests. No company had any influence over the results or my opinion. Welcome, I'm Carl Murawski, and this is the channel that helps you own better, look better, and live better. Now, workwear is tricky, and as an electrician of almost 21 years, God, I'm getting old, and before that I was a mechanic and tow truck driver, I know what it is to be hard on your workwear, and I know that the struggle is always finding something that's going to be functional and durable, but also not cost a fortune, because you can have the world if you're willing to pay for it, but if you're really thrashing on your workwear, which you should be doing at work, well then you don't want to spend a fortune just to destroy it. So in this video I took 8 different work jackets which I purchased on my own, and I put them through a bunch of tests to see which one came out on top. Now, as you can imagine, every work site, every job, every single location around the world is a little bit different. So what I pick might not be the one that you would pick. For example, if you work in mostly wet conditions that are cold, you're going to want something that's going to be completely different than somebody who's working in New Mexico in the heat all day and wants something that's a little bit trimmer fitting and lighter. So this is not just a one-size-fits-all kind of thing, but I am going to try to give you the information that you need to pick the best jacket for your situation. Now, the tough part of this whole thing was figuring out which companies I was going to buy from and what the criteria was going to be. And I decided that I was just going to choose any jacket that was under $160 that had 2 hand warmer pockets at least and a hood, because that's what I see out on the job site most often. This is commonly known as the active jack type of workwear jacket. So I found 8 companies that I really liked. As a matter of fact, there was 9. I originally included Duluth Trading Company, but then they discontinued the jacket that I bought. And hey, let me know in the comment section if there's another brand you want me to check out. I can always do the same thing next year and keep comparing these things if you'd like, so just let me know. All right, let's meet the contenders, beginning with Red Cap. This is the blended duck zip front hooded jacket in color brown duck, and it'll set you back just about $79. The material is 10-ounce duck canvas made up of 65% polyester and 35% cotton. It's made in Mexico. It features 2 exterior pockets, which are unlined, and 1 interior pocket on the left side. The cuffs feature a single snap, so they are not sizable. The hood has an external drawstring. The Red Cap has a very small YKK zipper in brass. All of these jackets are in size large, and the Red Cap has no back gussets. The main seams are double stitched. Helly Hansen Workwear. This model is the Berg insulated winter jacket in color red and black, and it'll cost you $160. It's made out of 6-ounce 100% polyester canvas and made in China. The Helly Hansen has 4 exterior pockets and the lower 2 are lined. It has 1 kind of flimsy interior pocket on the left-hand side. The cuffs are secured with a Velcro strap. The hood on this has an external drawstring. It's sizable, uninsulated, and stowable. The zipper is a YKK with a double storm flap. This jacket is size large, it has no back gussets, and it has a drop tail hem. The main seams on the Helly Hansen are double stitched. There's an elastic drawstring at the hem. This is the Walls Mingus DWR Duck Hooded Bomber Work Jacket in color pecan, and it costs $100. The material is duck canvas of an unspecified weight, and it's 60% cotton, 40% polyester, made in China. The Walls has 3 exterior pockets, and the lower 2 are lined. It has 2 interior pockets, one with a zipper. The Walls features storm cuffs. The hood has a simple external drawstring. The zipper is brass with a little pull tag. Size is large, it features back gussets and articulated sleeves. The main seams on this one are triple stitched. This is the Berne Heritage Duck Hooded Active Work Jacket in color navy, and it'll set you back $73. The material is 10-ounce 100% cotton duck canvas, and it's made in Bangladesh. The Berne features 2 exterior pockets, which are unlined. It has 3 interior pockets. The cuffs are rib knit. The hood has a simple external drawstring. The zipper is brass. The size is large, it features back gussets and articulated sleeves, a lot of features for the money. The main seams are triple stitched. And speaking of value, it's hard to find a better value pocket knife than one from NAFS. Now, NAFS has been a longtime sponsor of this channel. They allow me to do videos like this for you, and honestly, I love their product. Matter of fact, I think I have my Lander 2 on me today. I love this knife. This one has custom scales on it. I don't know if you can see that, but these are cool anodized blue custom scales. I have 2 of these. I usually go between this one and the micarta version, but now, I don't know, blue was kind of my thing. Now, these are so good that I've gifted them to members of my family. I also really like their Lulu, which is a great little fixed blade knife. That thing is incredibly useful, more so than you would think, especially for a fixed blade. They also have the large Lulu, which I would love to check out at some point, which is basically a bigger version of that. Now, the Lulu, the cool thing about that, and I believe the large Lulu as well, is that everything on it is made in the USA, down to the box and the sticker. So if that's kind of your thing, then take a look at those 2 knives right there. But the greatest thing about NAFS is that they're a cool company. They just seem like good people. Ben over there, you could go see the YouTube channel, watch him talk about the industry, about the company. They just seem like people that you would actually want to be friends with. And I'm so proud to have them as a repeated sponsor on this channel. I have a lot of expensive pocket knives, but I keep going back to this one. The blade shape is usable, and let's face it, you really don't want to thrash on a very, very, very expensive knife. I really don't want to use it. I find myself shying away from actually using one when I carry one. But these, on the other hand, they're affordable enough that I don't mind using them for everything. Then I sharpen them, and they go right back into service. They're great. That's why I use them as gifts, too. So NAFS has been incredible to work with, and I really do love their products. Put one of these in your jacket of choice from this list here, and you're going to be using it a ton. I guarantee it. Anyway, let's get back to the tests. Thank you, NAFS, for sponsoring this video. The Ariat Rebar Washed Dura Canvas Insulated Jacket in color Wren costs $130. The material is a 9-ounce washed canvas made up of 68% cotton, 30% polyester, and 2% spandex, and it's made in China. The Ariat has 3 exterior pockets where the bottom 2 are lined, but it only features 1 interior pocket. It has storm cuffs. The hood cinch is an internal drawstring. The zipper is a YKK with plastic teeth and a storm flap. The size is large, it has a cross-cut back, which works really well, and articulated sleeves. The main seams on the Ariat are double-stitched. This is the TrueWork S3 Solution hoodie in color black, and it'll set you back $160. The material is a 9-ounce bonded fabric made up of 86% polyester, 14% spandex, and it's made in Bangladesh. The TrueWork has 3 exterior pockets. The 2 interior pockets are very large but made up of like a spandex material. The cuffs are closed with a Velcro strap. The hood has an internal drawstring and is sizable with an elasticized cinch. The zipper is a YKK with plastic teeth. The size is large, and this is a 4-way stretch fabric. There's an elasticized drawstring at the hem. The main seams on the TrueWork are double-stitched. The Dry Duck Cheyenne work jacket in color saddle will cost you $95. The material is 100% cotton 12-ounce washed duck canvas, and the jacket's made in Bangladesh. There are 2 unlined exterior pockets. And there are 2 interior pockets as well. The cuffs are rib knit, and the hood is closed with an external drawstring. Look at that handsome fellow. The zipper is a brass YKK. This is in a size large. The Dry Duck has a non-gusseted back, but it does have articulated sleeves. The main seams are triple stitched. This is the Carhartt model J130 Washed Duck Insulated Active Jack in Carhartt Brown, and it'll set you back $120. The material is 12-ounce 100% cotton washed duck canvas, and it's made in Nicaragua. It has 2 external lined pockets with a pencil sleeve. And there are 2 interior pockets, one with a zipper. There are storm cuffs with a Cordura reinforced sleeve hem. The hood features an internal drawstring. The zipper is an articulating YKK, and there's a storm flap. This is size large, it has a non-gusseted back, and it does have articulated sleeves. The main seams on the Carhartt are triple stitched. For those keeping score, the Berne is the least expensive, while the True Work and the Helly Hansen Workwear are tied for the most expensive. Let's take a closer look at that shell material. The True Work is a 3-layer bonded fabric, which basically means that the shell material and the insulation are all part of the same cloth. Dry Duck uses a 12-ounce washed duck canvas, which is treated for softness to give you kind of a pre-broken in feel. Berne uses a 10-ounce duck canvas with a water-repellent finish. Ariat uses their 9-ounce Tough Max Dura Stretch washed canvas. Carhartt uses their classic 12-ounce duck canvas, which has been washed for softness. The weight of the Walls washed duck canvas is unspecified, but it feels pretty heavy, probably around 12 ounces, and it has a water-repellent finish. Helly Hansen has the lightest fabric at 6-ounce polyester canvas. And Red Cap uses a 10-ounce duck canvas. To test the water resistance of each fabric, I applied the same amount of water to each one and let it sit for about a minute. The Red Cap absorbed the water like a paper towel, but it never claimed to be water resistant in the first place. Dry Duck was slightly better, but again, it's 100% cotton, so it's going to absorb just like a towel, and it never claimed to be water resistant. The Ariat was surprisingly water resistant, especially because it never claimed to be so, but I think we could chalk that up to the proprietary fabric here. The Carhartt was better yet, especially since this isn't even a part of their Rain Defender series. Now, the Berne did have a water-repellent finish, and you can see that at work here. When I moved this, there was a little tiny bit of water absorption, but nothing to be worried about. And the Walls was kind of the same thing. Again, DWR is in the name, and it certainly worked like a charm here. As you would probably imagine, the synthetics performed best in this test. True Work showed no water absorption at all. And it was much the same situation with the Helly Hansen. Again, these are synthetic fibers, and they simply can't absorb water the way cotton does. The Helly Hansen and True Work dominated this test with their synthetic fabrics, but the Berne and Walls performed admirably well. Insulation. Now, there wasn't really a whole lot of information on a lot of these, but I decided to show you the internals anyway. Red Cap uses 100% polyester batting, which is pretty common with jackets of this price. Part of the reason the Carhartt costs a little bit more is that they're using 3M Thinsulate insulation. Helly Hansen puts a little bit more insulation in the body than they do in the sleeves, but it's all 100% polyester. Walls uses 100% polyester batting. Ariat uses 140 grams of something they call cool climate insulation. Berne uses 100% polyester batting, and as we discussed, the insulating fabric and the shell fabric are one and the same with the True Work. Dry Duck uses 100% polyester batting. To do this penetration test, I took a square drive socket in my drill press and tried to push it through the fabric. The True Work took 32 pounds of pressure. The Dry Duck took 35 pounds of pressure. The Carhartt took 48 pounds of pressure, best yet. Red Cap took 26 pounds of pressure. The Walls took 37 pounds of pressure. The Ariat took 30 pounds of pressure. The Berne took 29 pounds of pressure. And the Helly Hansen Workwear took 44 pounds to penetrate. Carhartt was the big surprise here, especially because it uses a 12-ounce canvas just like a lot of the others, but they're doing something there because it was really hard to push through. The Abrasion Test. Using a Martindale abrasion machine, I cut a circle of fabric out of the same spot on each of these jackets. This circle of fabric was then put on the abrasion tester, and 220 grit abrasive was passed over each section of fabric in an oscillating circle for 10,000 passes or till failure. Now, obviously, this isn't a perfect test, but this is the same machine that a lot of laboratories will use to test fabrics. The Ariat failed at approximately 5,000 passes. The Carhartt failed at approximately 6,000 passes. The Berne went the full 10,000, looking not really that bad. Same story with the Red Cap, 10,000 passes didn't seem to affect it much. The Dry Duck looks fine, just a little bit lighter after 10,000 passes. The Walls felt softer, but really no worse for the wear after 10,000 passes. The Helly Hansen held up remarkably well after 10,000 passes. And unsurprisingly, the True Work was basically unaffected, only getting a little bit softer. Now, I was surprised at the Ariat and Carhartt here, while the rest made it to 10,000 passes with almost no issues. Now, this burn test is absolutely unscientific, and if you work near flames and sparks, you should be wearing FR gear anyway. But as you can see here, the 100% cotton will just light up and flake away, the same way that paper would. It was surprising how fast the Ariat material caught on fire and burned up to nothing. As a matter of fact, this was the only one that I didn't have to speed up to show you how fast it burned. We could probably attribute that to the lighter weight, or maybe the blended fabric. I'm not really sure, but try not to get this thing too close to heat. The walls with its blended fabric burned kind of the way you would expect. The red cap fabric definitely showed its polyester content with those little spits coming out at the bottom. The Carhartt with its 100% cotton fabric just burned up and flaked away. It was the same situation with the dry duck since it's made out of largely similar fabric. Now here's where the synthetics don't hold up so well. If exposed to heat, they usually drip and melt, which is nothing you want to be wearing at that time. And you can see it here with the Helly Hansen as well, as a big glob falls off the bottom of it. Gross. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, there is no such thing as a perfect jacket. Depending on where you work and what you do, you may have seen one of these and said, that's the one that I need. For example, if I was doing grounds maintenance where I was clearing snow and stuff like that, the Helly Hansen might be perfect. But if I was working in a warehouse, the dry duck might be better. The red cap was kind of disappointing. It performed middle to low on most of the tests, and the fit and finish of this thing isn't very good. Now the pros, it's relatively inexpensive, those red bar tacks look pretty cool, and it's industrial laundry friendly. The cons, however, this thing feels cheap. It has poor finishing. Just look at the alignment on that bottom panel, and those cuffs aren't adjustable. The Helly Hansen performed really well on a lot of these tests, and it's the one that I would want if I was out in the cold in the elements, for sure. Now the pros, it's feature-packed. It's got everything. It's water-resistant, and it's also really warm. The cons, though, this thing is expensive. It has a really cheap interior pocket, and it's not good near heat. The walls really surprised me. It has a ton of features and performed very well at its price. The value is really high on this one. You get a tough fabric, and it's also very warm. The cons, though, it's very bulky, and that external drawstring could get caught in rotating tools. The Berne really impressed me for its price. It performed really well in a lot of these tests, and I mean, the value is almost unmatched here. If I was going to recommend one jacket for somebody to start off their career with in the trades or wherever, this would definitely be it. But you know you're not going to get the best attention to detail. That external drawstring has issues, and those unlined pockets are kind of chilly. Ariat is definitely pushing workwear forward, though you do pay for it. It's very fully featured, it's extremely comfortable, and let's face it, this is probably the coolest looking one. However, that fabric really didn't perform very well in the tests, it's expensive, and only has one interior pocket. True Work feels like the future of workwear with its proprietary stretch fabric. That fabric performed exceptionally well on most of my tests. It also has a slimmer fit, and it's basically waterproof. However, those Velcro cuffs get in the way, it's expensive, and on its own, it's not very warm. The dry duck kind of fell in the middle, but it feels expensive for what you get, especially compared to the Berne. Now, you do get a tough fabric with a nice chunky zipper, but are you going to pay 20 bucks just for that? It has all the issues with an external drawstring, and it's also quite bulky. Carhartt has been at it the longest, and you can certainly tell with this jacket. It has a ton of features which have been refined over 100+ years. It's warm but not bulky, and I think you get a lot here for the money. However, that abrasion resistance was concerning, and it doesn't have any water resistance, though it never claimed to either. There's no doubt that the Berne impressed me the most here. For the price, you're getting a heck of a lot of jacket, and as I mentioned, this is the one that I would certainly recommend to somebody who's just starting off their career, or maybe if you needed something that was a spare to keep in your truck or van for when things get cold. It's a great option. The walls was equally as surprising. I didn't think I would like this one as much as I did. Now, it is heavy, but it's also very warm and feature-packed. You get a lot of stuff in this jacket that you only get in the more expensive ones. So, if you're gonna spend a little bit more money, 30 bucks more or so, I think you get it in the walls. Now, I spent way too much time figuring out which one I thought was the overall best here, and I think it's a tie between two, and it's really gonna depend on which one you like better. The Carhartt and the Ariat. Now, both of these jackets are so well sorted out. Whereas a lot of times, like with the Dry Duck or some of the others, it felt like there were compromises made and they wouldn't really work in the field, at least the way I would use them. The Ariat and the Carhartt had everything where you would expect it, and it did it well. For example, stuff like the rib knit cuff on the Carhartt isn't so tight that it pushes your arm hair down. At the end of the day, you're like, what the heck? And they have that storm cuff. They have a storm flap behind the zipper. All the pockets are where you would expect them to be, and they're lined so that you can keep your hands warm if you want to. They just work really, really well, and I think the money is well spent if you go up to the $120 level with the Carhartt or the $130 level with the Ariat. They're both excellent jackets, which I think are providing an amazing value. I'd like to thank my patrons. All of these jackets are going to be going to them. I'd like to thank NAFS for sponsoring this video, and especially thanks to you for watching. Really appreciate it. Love doing these videos. They're expensive, but I think they're worth doing, so I hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, I'll catch you later.